let's go over to our last topic, which is EA, the Switch, and Frostbite. So there's a game going to the Switch that I feel like we talked about this a while ago. I don't know if the game got pushed or I mean, like we had talked about it, but it wasn't actually like technically out there or anything yet. And it's Plants vs. Zombies though.
I feel like we planted the seed to this in like July.
Dude, it was a long time ago. Like it's just, I guess it's been hanging out in the background for a while already.
Was that pun intended? Planted the seed?
Yes.
Okay.
he was sitting over there quietly thinking, but whatever
he has it on a flashcard sitting right next to his monitor. He's like, I'm going to use it.
Scheming. Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
So Plants vs. Zombies is going to the Switch. That's going to happen in a couple of months. I think the date that was put out there was March. I don't really doubt that. I think that's right. And actually, that's going to come out around the time that Mass Effect's going to come out. Huh. So Plants vs. Zombies going to the Switch. That's on the Frostbite engine, which means that EA must have got the Frostbite engine working on the Switch.
Yay!
Which surprises me because I thought EA hated the Switch.
Did they get the full engine, or did they just get enough to get Plants vs. Zombies running?
We would know if they start doing more Frostbite games, right?
We would.
So would we know that if they decided to actually use the real version of FIFA then on the Switch?
Yes, we would.
You really think that's going to happen a year after they gave us the legacy version?
Well, maybe that's why they did the legacy version, because they were getting Frostbite working. And they're like, all right, it's going to take us like a year to get this thing, an extra year to get us this whole thing moved over to the Switch, the FIFA
I think you're giving EA too much credit.
I probably am, yes. But I mean, you assume the Mass Effect trilogy would eventually go to the Switch too, right? They're just going to give us Mass Effect 3 on the Switch, aren't they?
I would just assume nothing.
I don't think we're getting anything Mass Effect related on the Switch, as much as I hate to say that.
The reason I thought they were doing Frostbite is because the Switch is just getting too large to ignore. Like, they have to do stuff with the Switch now because we're between generations, and the Switch is going to be reported in like a week that it's probably close to 80 million or past 80 million units.
Yep.
I mean, it's kind of hard to keep showing up to your investors' calls if you're EA and just trying to explain exactly why you haven't done something as simple as put The Sims on the Switch.
I mean, it's definitely a smart move to get Plants vs. Zombies on the Switch. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be, I think, a testing the waters scenario for them. I think, I don't know, the Frostbite on the Switch, yes, I guess you can say that that is true, but is it really like the entire suite that makes up Frostbite, or is it just a sub portion to get Plants vs. Zombies running, and then they still have to work to get the rest of it?
Yeah, that's Sean, it is a super chat for you. You want to read that after?
Where is it? Grow up.
This one is from It's a Me.
I'm looking.
Oh, we typed it in Discord for you.
Oh, you did? Okay. Anime titties. Also, Spotify wins. That's for you because they want Spotify.
They want Spotify.
I just wanted you to say it out loud.
Yeah, I was gonna make Sean say it again because it was funny when he said it the first time.
Anime titties.
I don't know when we're going to Spotify. There's a free one apparently. We're going to Spotify eventually. I gotta figure that out.
Takes 5 minutes to set it up, guys. It's
for
not a big
episode
deal.
201.
It's not a big deal.
They're going to transfer all 200 episodes for us?
You may upload them again.
Maybe. Maybe after 200 we'll start doing a Spotify. Maybe. We'll see. We get a lot of requests for Spotify. So yes, I think it'll be interesting to see how it runs because we've heard a lot of issues with Frostbite. So if we see Frostbite running on the Switch in portable mode, that could be an interesting thing. Maybe they go back and do some of their legacy content. Maybe they get Dragon Age and then move that over. The old one, not the new one, like Inquisition.
Man, you really have hopes for EA.
Yeah, I have none.
I mean, I'd like to think that EA would do so. I mean, Sean's been asking for Madden for how many years now, Sean? Like every year, you're like, this is going to be the year, and then they just disappoint you.
EA makes the Madden games worse. Like the company, this year's Madden was worse than the previous year's Madden. Like they make it worse somehow.
I have some hope now after what we saw with Star Wars with EA that the NFL will look at that and be like, huh, maybe we should have other people make NFL games for us too.
So you tell something about the NFL, they're like, nope. They're like, just whatever gives us the most money.
Whatever
have
works.
at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it's just because of the amount of players involved, the cover athletes, all these things that like there's probably a lot of talks that have to happen for that.
NFL's the most cruel, heartless, one of the most heartless companies out there is the NFL. I'll just tell you that right now.
We need NFL 2K.
Second only to EA.
That's why they work so well together, by the way. Like you just see when who was it? Was it Goodell? When Goodell and Don Matrick were talking, they were connecting on like a spiritual, emotional level. They were like making plans to hang out and everything.
Like, how can we screw over our fan base even more? I got some ideas for you.
Did you see the twinkle in Goodell's eyes when he was talking to Matrick, dude? Like,
like I envy you.
So
I wouldn't have any hopes of EA even from this. Like, oh, Frostbite, it's gonna be nothing. They announced their 7 games in a year. That's all the Switch is going to get, and people can play Apex Legends in a week and say, "Wow, this is cool." And then you can try out Plants vs Zombies and say, "This wasn't worth the 2.5-year wait." And EA is gonna say,
Do you guys think
Probably
that
really bad.
if a Switch Pro does come out, that EA is going to be bringing more stuff over, and maybe that's why they're starting to test the water now?
No.
No, what EA should be doing is looking more at the overall like the mobile setup, really, because then they should be able to we're getting to the point now where they should start looking at just outright cell phones and tablets and stuff for their games, like in general, like their actual games, because we see the Switch and like moving stuff over to ARM and all of this, and we see Nvidia make the big acquisition with ARM, and a lot of people are expecting that to go even further now and start taking up more and more market share. EA should just be looking in that direction as it is anyway. And who knows, maybe the Switch just benefits from it anyway, because it's kind of hanging out there. So I'd like to think, Jake, that in the future, people don't have to wonder if when EA announces a game, if the Switch logo is going to pop up or not. But it's unfortunate with EA, the way that I don't know if they're holding grudges. I don't know what the deal is.
They seem really salty.
The business models just don't match up. When you look at Madden and FIFA, the big things are FUT and was it MUT? And simply the Switch base isn't very aggressive in using those features, and that's EA's bread and butter. They don't care if they can sell 500,000 copies of FIFA on the Switch if only 5,000 of those people are using FIFA Ultimate Team. They want a vast majority of those people using FIFA Ultimate Team like they have on the Xbox and PlayStation ecosystem, and the Switch base simply isn't investing in the way EA wants to, so they're not finding these projects to be profitable in the long term. They are profitable in the immediate, but then they're saying, is that really worth it? We want 5 years worth of income from a single release, and we're getting that on those other platforms. And if Nintendo's base isn't giving us that, you're going to get FIFA Legacy. We'll make the money that we make on a very cheap port, and we're satisfied enough with that. That's why we're seeing Apex Legends come over. It's a free-to-play game.
It's a free-to-play game.
Get a lot of microtransactions from it, and if they don't get anything, they'll say, "Oh well, we gave you the game. You didn't respond well to it. Bye."
It's I don't know. It'll be interesting, I guess, to see if they do anything. But EA, unfortunately, there's not a lot of expectations with them. It's already just low expectations as it is.